What up? Sorry, I had to also go check on my dogs. I guess when I fed them, I have my littlest one that still stays in a kennel, and opened the door, and there he was, and I was like, "So that's the scratching I keep hearing." Okay, but yeah. So ramen, um, other stuff. There are a lot of different mangas and everything out there, so it's kind of up to the reader, whatever you enjoy. Obviously, I enjoy a little too much of everything. The Twilight Zone is pretty good. It just all kind of matters um, on which ones you get. Um, I really like the Andy Griffith Show. The Dick Van Dyke one, there are good episodes in there. I don't know. I like to watch a lot of different television shows because everything can further your knowledge in anything. And so that's kind of my whole understanding with reading and reading a lot of manga. And I would definitely say that manga has done that. My mother sometimes will have a conversation and I'll bring up something random off the wall and she'll be like, "Where'd you get that from?" And I'll say, "Got it from reading this manga." So it's pretty funny seeing different stuff like that, where it comes from. You know, just like we talked about with that stuff, there's certain things where I've called something else and gotten a weird look because I've either called it by its Japanese name or I'll call it what it is in German or whatever. And just like in Shawshank Redemption, if you've seen that, um, instead of calling beer anymore, I'll say I'm getting some suds or a bottle of suds. And even my mom will look at me with a dirty look. She'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, manga is really good. I started reading manga at the age of 14 and have tried to collect it as far as I can every year since. There were a couple of years where other things took priority, so I didn't buy as much, but I've always tried to buy manga, and you know, it just kind of went from there. Um, I was like most of the other manga tubers where I had 300, and then I bought a friend's collection, and I was up to like 600, and then I went from 600 to 800, and then 800 to 1,000, and then it just kind of went from there, doing different stuff, getting mostly from Right Stuff because they are a lot cheaper than most other places that you can get them. And then I was talking to Danny D that was on the other live stream. Maybe she'll pop up in this one. That's kind of my senpai, and I talked to her, and we were talking, and I figured out how much manga I had, and I was at like 36. See, look, there she is. Woot! Um, I was at like 3,600, and I didn't even know that I had that many. I knew I had over 2,000 at least. And then me and Danny talked about it, and Danny was like, "Well, you should try YouTube. What do you think about that?" And I was like, "Well, I've never done it before. I don't like speaking in front of people. I don't like a lot of stuff." And Danny's like, "I think you can do it." And so I tried my hand at it, and now I am where I am today. So, and I like it. I really do. Lyle, if you ever feel like doing a manga video or getting into YouTube, let me know, and I will totally put your name out there some more. And you know, it's just something fun. We can grow our community off of it a lot more. People that like manga, and it's something that not a lot of people can actually just sit there and just get into. And right now, really, that would be one of the best thing. Um, a lot of people will wait to do anything until they have at least 100. The earlier you can start doing anything, though, the better, because if you have any kind of inkling of doing anything on YouTube because of all that, and don't feel pressured if you're doing it. What's up, Jay? Um, and don't feel pressured. Danny does it, Jay does it. We all do YouTube. We all talk about different things, different stuff consisting around manga, extracurricular activities that we like to do. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff that you can even talk about. So um, it's totally cool. I would highly recommend you watch Danny and Jay. Um, I feel like Danny's videos where she goes on trips are probably my favorite. I feel like Jay's videos where he talks about just random stuff, I love it because I know Jay loves manga and whatnot too, but it's really good watching people and getting away from manga when you do that. That's why I like to talk about basically anything and kind of relate it back to manga. But yeah, I mean, there's a new guy, Alonzi, right now that we're becoming fast friends. Lohali and me became fast friends. Um, Flip Otaku Mike, we became fast friends. Danny is my oldest supporter, not in age because she it doesn't look a day over 25. Um, but Danny was my number one sub, and yeah, we've just kind of went from there. Whatever, you're beautiful. Um, which I need to get a picture of one of Katie's supervisors. She's got this new supervisor that she works with at Kroger, and looks just like you. Like you could be sisters. The only difference is she has long black hair, um, compared to your hair color. So it's really like when I first saw her, I was like, oh my God. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people try and get in, probably at 100 videos. If you're at 20, that's great because a lot of people, if you're a person that's been in the community for a while, they want to basically they want you to sink your teeth into a manga and do all this other stuff. If if you're new, people don't expect anything from you, and they really want to know your unpopular opinion of what you like, which way you're going, what manga tubers you're following, different stuff like that. And sometimes it's really funny to see some of those. Um, you know, Lohli and Flipotaku are both people that I got behind, and as you know, like Flipotaku's higher than me in subs and whatnot. And some of my other friends are like, "Are you not upset about that?" And I was like, "I can't be upset about that. Like, they're basically my Padawan." So, you know, try to support people as best you can, and you'll make it there on your own. So, also true, Danny. Yep, Flip was in comics. He also did video games and music and some other stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I say, I totally want to meet everybody that I'm friends with. They are all exponentially valuable. Um, you know, and there's just some stuff that everybody can do, and some people can't do it as good as others, but it's really good. So, um, and I highly recommend that anybody does it, especially like I went from college having to do different things talking in front of people and getting like shaky about it because I was like, I can't do it. I don't like talking in front of people to now I talk in front of camera, and I know that's not the same exactly, but it did give me more power over talking in front of people. So now, I can sit there and jump in front of people and be like, oh, hey, what's up? So true. But yeah, and some of the ones I recommended you um, are ones that me and Danny both like. Me and some other friends like ones that I really like. That I've talked to people a lot about. They're all good series. So um, the girl from the other side, definitely, definitely, definitely. Danny and me, I think, both started it at the exact same time, and that is like our series. So if anybody else talks about it and they just don't make sense with it, I'm like, no, you're gonna have to back up on that. Sorry, it doesn't make any sense. Promise Neverland is very good. I actually brought up mine in your discussion and one other person's discussion, Alonzi, when we talked about how Promise Neverland Volume 9 didn't exactly fit the criteria with everything because you saw it all coming. Right. Yeah, I read comics on the Marvel Insider one, and me and Otaku Mike got to talking, and I was like, I'm gonna go on here and read some, and I've started the Immortal Hulk and Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I was already in the Venomverse series and the Generation series, so I'm trying to finish those off too. But they're really good, Jay. I, yeah, Sakura is pretty good. I really like the anime a lot more, um, but they do have Cards that Capture Sakura Clear Card coming out, and I'm not exactly sure what I feel about that. Um, because I haven't gotten into it yet, but reading the descriptions on the backs, they're all kind of weird. So I'm not sure if I'm really excited about that or not. Promise Neverland is pretty good. Yes. You should definitely read the manga for Inuyasha because the manga for it is spectacular and it actually has a final conclusion because in America, halfway through it, they ended it. Well, about three-fourths of the way through it, there wasn't a complete ending to Inuyasha here. Yeah, I've read it all. It was great. I loved um, Tensaiga, like getting all the new powers. There's like three new powers after the little gray moss guy or the giant gray moss mountain guy. He fights like another fire demon. He fights Shishomaru with Tenseiga, and supposedly you find out he's been on a quest from the dad this whole time where Shishomaru was trying to master Tenseiga and then give the power over to Inuyasha. So if that's not a kick to the crotch, I don't know what is. But it was pretty funny seeing that part and him realizing it, and then coming back to, oh wait, but I'm just great anyway. So I loved Inuyasha finishing it off. Okay, so I'll tell you, Danny, because I'm a couple comments behind on what y'all are all saying. Um, in Volume 9, the only thing is between Volume 7 and Volume 8, um, everything that is supposed to happen in Volume 9 is already talked about. And a lot of people are saying Volume 9 doesn't hold up to the rest of the series. So the complaint is it's because you already know it. Basically, everything in the series has been a mystery up until Volume 8. Volume 9, you know what's going to happen. So, because it's already talked about so much. So, if you've already done that, then if you've already read 7 or 8 or both, then you're closer to knowing exactly what happens in it. It kind of takes it from being a regular or a crazy mystery ish manga to just a battle manga. And then hopefully with 10, it spreads it back out again. That's pretty funny, Jay. A lot of people are saying that they don't like One Punch Man season two, so it's good to hear somebody else say that they like it. I feel like the unpopular opinion, whether it be good or bad, is always the better one to take than the boat that everybody else jumps on. Not only because, obviously, if it was like the life rafts in Titanic and them sinking, um, you can hop on that one and understand it a little more because I feel like people are more easily able to give up bad stuff about certain series or really good stuff when everybody else is on the other side. Yes, there are a couple things, Lil, um, that you can look at. Lythus is a really good manga tuber that you can watch his videos. He will put usually the new series coming out for the month at the beginning of the month, so he's already put his out for now. I go off of pre-orders and stuff of Right Stuff, and also you can go to all the places that publish manga and put your email in, and they'll send you an email. And most of the time, those places will tell you, "Hey, the new series of this is coming out. This is a new series," and stuff like that. So, I mean, you get a lot of different stuff with that as well. So, right. I am now in that whole loop of I have enough money that I saved away for my orders up to um, August. I have to add like 50 to 80 bucks into it, and I will have all that. But past that, I haven't added any continuing things for a series or any new series or anything because I don't have that till I get another job. So, what is up, Flip? You missed me talking about you. Um, the Promised Neverland, I think, is supposed to end because they have been talking about it ending soon. I think it's probably supposed to end about volume 15. That's what I'm feeling like, but it might go a little more than that. Not 100% sure. What did I say about you, Flip? I was saying that you were one of the people that started in the manga community not that long ago, and how Bazaar has kind of brought up some points that how I feel about like you passing me in subscribers, and if Lovely passed me and all this other stuff, if I should feel upset about it or not. And I basically told him, why would I be upset that one of my Padawans was doing better than I was, you know? So, wink. Not only that, but your dad. So, right? I mean, I'll get there eventually. You never know. We might be sitting here playing the game of Burnout, and you might in 2 years be like, you need to take a year break. There'll be a time for the Barracuda to strike. Raw. I need to get Diablo 3. Mike has been telling me that Flip's supposed to be getting Diablo 3 too, and supposedly we're all going to play it together on PlayStation, but and I'm still having fun even though Flip doesn't support me on Generation Zero. It is a great game. Just saying. There are some things that are pet peeves, but when you get up in these robots' grills and in the nitty gritty, and you're like, dude, what am I supposed to do? that is definitely when you can figure out if you shine or not. Heck yeah, then we can. I think you can force squad it. I think you can have up to 5 people if we could get a fifth person to play. But it would be me and Flip and Mike and you, Jay. Right? You need to hold off on that. You know how much money you sink into other things. Um, Mine is really easy. It's just Jingraves. But yep. So loyal. The other cool thing, since we're on here, is besides Danny having her own family's restaurant, me having a I own a kettle corn stand and Flip working at a pizza place. You have like the three greatest minds of learning different stuff like that. Hold on, let me get a picture of this. I'll go add it on there when I get done. I used to play WoW with one of my friends, and he would pay for everything. So I know the feeling of that. You know a little bit, Danny. Not I wouldn't say you're the master, but you know a little bit. I would probably say though, another thing that you can play is it's what I play. It's kind of like Paragon, because somebody else plays it, but I actually downloaded Smite and I got the season pass for it, for playing. Um, I whenever a new god is released or whatever, I can play all of them. So it's like download the free game and $30 for the unlimited pack, and you can go into that. I mean, if you don't want to do that, you can totally go into it for free, but it's really good. But yeah, I really enjoy Smite. I thought you only had to make it like 24 years from now. Yep, I play Smite. What's up, RPX? I know I haven't done one of these in a while for you to hop on, but I do get all that stuff on Twitter. So I'm like, my boy RPX I got this. Especially when it pops up on my timeline, I'm like, ooh. We talked about ramen. We talked about cooking manga. Now we're talking about video games. We can talk about movies. There's a lot of stuff with that. I mean, just a lot. So, you guys want to know a fun fact that I found out? And this might blow somebody's mind, but originally I didn't know. Yes, I am Jingraves on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, PSN, um, Snapchat, just about everywhere but Facebook. If you see a high score thing and you see Jingraves, I probably played it. There's not very many people that use my gamer tag or anything else. That's why I went with it because I was like, nobody else uses this that much. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Trying to think if I know that. Yeah, I really, now that we've had it, I really can't wait till Spider Man comes out. But that's about it. Um, I really want to buy the movies and watch them all from the beginning to the end again, because of how good they were. But I don't know. It's really a lot. And I just watched a music video on something that had fits in it from um, Agents of Shield. I was like, what the hell? We just got to get through the next couple things. Now X-Men has gotten the write off for them to do the Dark Phoenix movie or whatever, and then after that, it's almost like a whole entire new reboot that they're going to do since they're moving over to Disney. Oh yeah, I would. Spider-Man's happening, which I mean, could you really see anybody else ever doing anything after what we saw in Endgame? For sure, a Guardians 3. Um, I think we'll get Falcon, his own movie. Well, it might still be called Captain America, but it will be Falcon in it, especially with what happened. So we'll have like a Sam Wilson Captain America thing. Um, oh yeah, I can't wait for the X-Men reboot. Um, what's some other stuff that happened that aren't like big spoilers if I say it. If you think about it, it'll become a spoiler, but yep, they're doing the TV shows for them. WandaVision um, is happening, so somehow Vision's got to come back. I haven't seen Venom yet. I need to see that. I also haven't seen a lot of the DC movies either of those, so I also need to watch their shows. My brother's trying to help me figure out the timeline for watching them because I know I can look on the internet, but he is just getting to the end of them, and it's a pain in the ass. I will say that. I also need to get caught up. I have The Punisher left to watch, and I think the Daredevil show left to watch. Yep. You got good and bad news, RPX. I just enjoy them all. I really hate that they closed them down, though. Oh, I know that's coming. They've already started it. They have already started it, for sure. So I'm trying to get through. I mentioned it earlier. I'm trying to get through a bunch of. It's like older beer that I had. I'm trying to get through all of it, and it's one of my favorite ones because I like seasonal stuff, which is horrible. I know. Um, I'm trying to get through pumpkin beer. Yep, it's 3:20 right now here. But I'll talk to you later. Let me know if you read any more of those other manga suggestions that I gave you. And I'll see if I can get a video of that ramen at some point. I still have to watch the Lead It to You. I really need to see Shazam. That was the one that I really wanted to see. But right now, my big thing that I want to go see is the Godzilla movie and to watch Skull Island, and then next year in 2020 to watch the Godzilla versus Kong. So there's some stuff that is coming out that's becoming my favorite movies and whatnot. Um, Danny actually owns one of them, which is Ready Player One. I wish they had a second adaptation into that because Ready Player One was amazing. It was one of the ones when I sat in the theater and watched it with my brother and our friends. I was just like, I didn't know that there could be a movie this good out there. So when I finally got it, I just like, I flipped. It is so good. I love it. That's almost one. Ready Player One is almost a movie I could put on repeat. The original Gundam, when what's his face used the power and did it. Oh yeah. Um, the the Iron Giant fighting Mecha Godzilla, turning into the Mega Godzilla versus um, the first Gundam was insane. right. I feel like we need more. Does anybody else feel upset that they're turning um, Fast and the Furious, the new movie that's coming out, basically into a superhero supervillain movie? The guy's getting a suit that enhances all your abilities, your strength, your speed, everything. And The Rock and what's his face are going to take him out. I just, it doesn't feel Fast and Furious because it doesn't feel like it's about the cars anymore. I would probably see it because um, I really like um, those two actors, but I don't think you should put it underneath the Fast and the Furious umbrella at all. You would probably be better at calling it like one of the Rampage movies with the gorilla and the alligator and stuff, which I still need to see that one too. It is pretty crazy. I feel like besides that and Godzilla, the only other one that I've heard about a lot of people talking about is all the live action Disney ones and the Ugly Dolls movie. So I'm not 100% of how either of those will be. Live action Disney, I feel like is a hit or miss though. So I need to see it then. If I got RPX and you, Danny, both telling me, I need to see it. Yeah, because who's making the next one? Because the next one looks the best from everything else, but it also looks like they finally figured out how to do stuff from like Pacific Rim. And I didn't even really enjoy Pacific Rim from either the first one or the second one. Very true. And then the older one, Godzilla from like 2007. I don't know what they were smoking when they made that, but it was horrible. I remember watching that and being like, what? I would really like them to make a series out of Evolution, though. I know they made the cartoon series and they made the one movie out of it. But I mean, Evolution, where the creatures progressed as the movies progressed, would be amazing. I just watched the one that they made, the live action one of that they made the other day. They put it back on Netflix. Oh, it was in 2001. Something I don't know, where he was basically a lizard and not. Um, he was a lizard and he wasn't exactly Godzilla. I mean, they could even make a freaking Gamera, the turtle. I mean, they could almost make a Gamera movie or an Ultraman movie, and I feel like would still probably be better than the old Godzilla movies that they made that were crap. Kaiju's. I have seen the old Guyver movie a long time ago. RPX has probably seen the Guyver movie though, and remembers all the details about it. I would say from a lot of stuff, RPX is probably like a human encyclopedia of movies and TV shows. Yes. I have a I have some pop stuff that I'm doing. If you saw the last video, the pop bingo and of my 10-inch pops and some other stuff that's in it. There's like 25 categories I have to do a video for, and I've done 13. And my 10-inch ones, of my favorites that I had left over were Godzilla and King Kong. So I did make a shout out in preparation for that movie. Power Rangers. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to say when we were talking about WoW and whatnot. I asked y'all and nobody said anything, but so Zach, that has been on the show with Flip and Mike and me, and also with me and Loha Lee, that is making Starlight Lost. Me and him got to talking, and he know one of what's his name? I know I'll talk about it, and one of you guys will get it. Uh, is it William Gallagher, the guy that made D&D? Um, so Zach actually knows one of the grandchildren and all that other stuff. He said in his town, everybody drives past the house and knows what it is. So I've gotten a um, an invite to go up there closer to like Gallagher days and stuff. What? When did he say that? Was it like out in the open? Well, holy crap. That's why I don't like getting on Facebook. I feel like people's dark sides come out on Facebook because that's where people choose to get real at. Can't be on Twitter because even if people get real, there's so many other people that try and become comedic relief, you know, stuff like that. Oh, really? What lawsuits is Twitter getting hit with? Oh, I do think it is pretty funny finding some of the cosplayers that take basically like topless pictures and whatnot, are kind of funny because they'll say that they got banned from Instagram for doing it, but then they didn't get banned from Twitter. So it's just kind of funny, different stories that you hear from different people saying, "Oh, I tried to post it here and I got banned," or "I did it here and nothing happened," or stuff like that. Yeah, you never know though. Alrighty. I will catch you later, Jay. Continue putting up those great videos. I'm still waiting for you to go to Japan, Jay, and get the um, cologne guy to make you your own cologne. You know, you like fill out a questionnaire and he goes in and looks at it and he's like, "Oh, hey, here's all this stuff." I've seen a couple people do it and it's hilarious. So I can't wait and for to figure out if you do it and yours is like what you expect it to be. A lot of the people are like, "This doesn't smell anything like I would think. It's horrible." And then you find out what's in it. It's like alligator juice and snake juice and something else, and you're like, "What?" But it's funny. You'll have to check it out too. Oh, true. You think they would play it off that you know where people wouldn't know? I mean, nobody knew what I did exactly or who I worked for until after I got fired. So you know, very true. So I still got you, RPX, and Flip, and somebody else, Danny, maybe, maybe, maybe. True, 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 true. We've actually talked about this with me and Mike and Flip, and we make joke videos on it. And me and Flip, I don't know about Mike, but me and Flip are both Italian, so we've made the joke that basically, since we're both Italian, that it's basically not like a hate crime or whatever, but there's other things that people want to try and get in on that. And I'm just like, there's a lot of different things that make up the person that is Jingraves and what my whole heritage is. And the biggest thing, Sicilian. The biggest thing, though, that I got joked about that wasn't really a big thing, as long as I tried not to turn it into a big thing, because a lot of people wanted to try and do that, is the fact that I have huge lips. So obviously, I had jokes all in high school about um, my family members obviously being African American origin and stuff like that. And, the funny thing is, though, I did have one teacher that was a African American lady that had been with the school for so long, and one of the kids was making fun of me and another student because I went to a school in high school where I was the minority, which I feel like a lot of things are actually turning that way, where um, white straight guys and whatnot are becoming kind of close to that. I mean, if you come down and chop up like I have Indian and all this other stuff. I mean, just, I have more Viking and Anglo-Saxon blood than I do that to make up my skin color. Um, but they just like were going on about lip size for me and the other guy, and mine are bigger than his. And they were like, da da da. And my teacher goes, well, the funny thing is based off of how big your nose is, talking to the other student, that you're probably more white than he is in your ancestry. And after that, like nobody said anything. It was like, holy crap. This teacher obviously, sticking up for a Caucasian student, I guess. Um, you know, I put that on there, but I don't know. I feel like I'm more mixed, but it's pretty funny. It's very true. I feel like common sense is a thing that's more of a skill now than it is a thing, right? Yeah, yeah, and it turned out to be one of my favorite teachers because it was a teacher that was like one of my literature teachers, and so she had known all this stuff and whatnot. And um, I mean, one of the other guys was in ROTC, and one of the guys was like bullying the shit out of him. Like, and it was one of my friends, and I was like, I don't know what to do because he was on the whole other side of the room, and you could tell just by what his face looked like what the person had somewhat said to him. And this teacher had to have like bad ears or something because they said something to him one time, and the teacher goes, um, we can treat this like elementary school, and you can go put your nose in the corner, or you can sit there and respect other students. So, I mean, this lady was great. And I think one time the student did push it too far, and she told him, this is elementary school again. Go put your nose in the fucking corner. And it was just like, oh my God, is this really happening to somebody that's basically like 18, 17, 18, 19? Yeah. Oh man. That's why if you ever hear me talking to people, a lot of the time I will ask them what their origin is, um not where or what their skin color is, basically, by saying, hey, are you like actually black? That doesn't make any sense. And I mean, you guys have seen my brother. Trey obviously is darker than me, but Trey's grandma is like three-fourths Irish. One of my grandparents is like three-fourths Irish. The only thing is a couple generations worth of how much it was mixed with and all that other stuff. So it doesn't make any sense. And working at my job, I did have one person try and call me racist over something stupid, and all these people were just like, "But think about your family. Like y'all are all like a mixed bag. Like honestly." So stuff like that. I really hate how people try and jump to conclusions on stuff because it just doesn't make any sense. It's better to know your origin and what characteristics make you up than other stuff. I would just like to put in that your skin color is how bad you're going to burn in the sun. That's about it. Doesn't really mean anything else unless you have freckles. So, which, I mean, I know you guys can kind of see it like on my shoulders and whatnot. Um, I never had freckles really before that. Very little, very little. I barely had anything. You guys can probably like see this one on my face, but I mean, you don't see really anything else on my face. There's probably like one, two, three, four freckles on there. Um, I got a third degree sunburn from working in a lady's garden. Um, and the burn left it so bad that I blistered up bad. Like they would pop open and leak out ooze and all this other stuff. And after it was all healed up and whatnot, I had freckles on my shoulders, and numerous freckles. So, yes, I do. I have a lot of tattoos. I need some more. I'm thinking about getting the boy's birth date on my arm, um, but I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe on one forearm having like my kids' birth date in Roman numerals, and on the other one having my grandparents, but I'm not 100% sure. It's because people focus on my face and they don't focus on my tats. I'm slowly becoming Yakuza and Mafia. Yes. I'm sure somewhere in my family I have that because, I mean, we have Asian people that are in our bloodline from like way back when. Most of it, we did a couple of the DNA tests. Me and my mom did, I think one of her brothers, and it was just like Europe. That's it. Europe, Spain, everything. Switzerland, Sweden, Germany, Britain, England. I mean, it was just like, this is what you are. So I was like, oh, Russia. And then it was funny because one of them went over and was like Egyptian, African American, or African, Brazilian, like all this other stuff. I was like, oh my God, there's too much. Who's to say I don't already have one? It's probably just on my bum. Or the two different renditions of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, where it's the giant dragon on her back. That's what I'm gonna get. Just a giant dragon. I bet. Yeah. I'll just get Iron Fist Dragon tattoo on my chest. That's what it'll be. Right. Yeah, we need you to wear these sensors on your body, and sometimes we want you to put this VR machine on your face, and there might be some villains that pop up every now and then. Well, there's a dragon, and there's some goblins. I don't think I really want to get into it. You have 3 tattoos? Danny, I didn't know that. I think I knew you had 2. Night flip. Did you get your workout in? I hope you did. Right, because I don't swear hardly at all. I'd have to turn into my sister. My sister was in the Coast Guard for a very long time. Like right after high school, that's what she did. She got into the Coast Guard for a while. I remember her going to basic, and then she got like a little break for like a year and then got to go. And my sister was in the Coast Guard in Florida and then went to Chicago, or not Chicago, um, up there somewhere though in Illinois, and a lot of other stuff. And she just, oh, well, I still need to get mine because, I only got the bear and the raven on my shoulder. Um, but yeah, she was doing that and everything. And I mean, it was horrible. My sister already cussed. But when she finally came back from the Coast Guard, it was like you would have thought she was on a pirate ship for probably about 10 years. It was swearing like a sailor left and right. I don't know how they do it everywhere, but I feel like there's kind of a calming effect. It's kind of like a little burn that you would get. Um, think about like if you're like leaning up against the oven, kind of um, that, but maybe burned a little bit. Hey, if I come visit you, I will totally take him up on that offer. I will totally try and talk you into one that you and I will probably be the only two people that will have it. I have one tattoo. Um, I have one tattoo that I share with both of my sisters and my mom. My sister has it up here on her shoulder. My mom and my other sister have it on their ring finger or their middle finger. They have it on the side. And then mine is right here on my elbow. But come to find out, it was the only one I was allergic to because of the red ink, and it was set on a nerve cluster. And I went through like 4 or 5 layers of skin. So it looks like I have an assless ladybug. Maybe we can trick him. Maybe I can get tattooed twice. Wink. Now you're not allowed to get tattoos after you join the force though, right? I know that was kind of a thing that they do down here. Like you can have everything that you want, that in military and whatnot, but if they find out like you have more, like it's suspension or something, like it's kind of stupid. But right, Danny is spectacular. That's good. I have one family from being in it um that through like 2 layers of marriage, I guess you would say. It's a cop, and he doesn't really talk about it too much unless one of the crazy aunts is involved, which there's only one, and she just lies all the time. And I'm only related to her through one half layer of marriage. I mean, because we're not even there yet, but there's so much. I don't even want to like get started into that because I feel like every other month I hear that she's got a warrant out for something or another, and it's just like, nope, don't want to be involved with that. Yeah, Danny, if I'm totally going to move in with you if I'm 40 when I hit 40. So something like that. I don't know. I've always wanted to see Switzerland, Sweden. Yes, that one. Phew, caught myself. It's because they're not from Europe and they both start with an S. For sure. Now I have a reason this time. If I do it if I do it usually 99% I usually get it right. The reason why I was thinking of Switzerland this time is because I just watched this crazy thing. It's called Dating Abroad or something like that. And it's this group of people. They go to all these different countries, and they tell you what like it is. So if you were going to date a Japanese person, what is kind of the stuff that you would have to go through, or if you um, date a British person or something like that. And it has just become one of these like weird series that I enjoy. And I've probably watched them for like 2 or 3 years now. And it's just funny because some of the stuff is like, you're dating a such and such kind of guy or kind of woman when da 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 da. And I was like, oh my God. I just watched one that was on dating a um, Switzerland woman. And it just, right? I would love to visit all of them just because there's just so much good stuff. I have the past week I have been listening to like Celtic music, Gaul music, different Irish music, Scottish music, stuff like that. And Bizarre has been getting on to me about it because he's like, every time we talk on the phone, you're sitting there listening to this sappy music. And I'm like, I like that kind of music. What are you talking about? So you're getting more invites down to Texas. You might not want to go down there. That might be bad. When you go to Sweden, Danny, I'll go with you so we can figure out what it's like. I definitely want to go for my family origins to see some of that. I mean, you never know. I might have certain people that lived in certain areas down there too. But there is so much stuff. I mean, scenery, all the other stuff. There are some house designs that I like. Honestly, like one of my favorite house designs that I've seen is where it's a two-story house and the bottom is all brick and the top layer is that wood mesh kind of paneling stuff where it's like the house is white and then they have designs on the outside. Love that. If I had maybe that with like a castle and a Japanese bath, like, I'd be set. What's wrong with Texas? I don't know what's wrong with Texas. There's too much. Seems like the only thing going right with Texas is some of the YouTubers that I know. And I couldn't say sunshine and rainbows because, Trey, my brother figure, is from there. And some of it is just, it's horror stories. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of crazy stuff here, but alrighty. I'll catch you in a sec. Right. I think it would be amazing just hang out with you and go to some of the places that you've been and places you haven't been, Danny, just because of there being so much stuff there. And you're one of like my greatest friends ever. You would probably be one of the people I would tell. I had a friend in high school that we kind of made that whole like lovers pack thing that was like, hey, if I don't marry anybody before 30 and you don't marry anybody before 30, let's get married and, whatever. And we'll go from there. And then the person ended up just turning out to be like this total and utter piece of crap. A lot of different stuff. But I would totally be like, Danny, if I'm not there by 40, you're probably like, what a goober. Mm-mm-mm. I need to play Bean Boozled. Taco might just put that out, and we're supposed to be doing it on the Dadcast at some point. I don't know why. I don't know when, though. Hopefully, it will be okay. Even though part of the stuff that Mike was doing and his wife trying that stuff was making me laugh so hard. I think I was sitting there and I started chuckling. And I was chuckling, and it was like a really deep stomach chuckle, and I was shaking the floor because I was laughing so hard. Isn't it late here? It is 4 o'clock. It's really bad because I wish I could. Between insomnia and other stuff, it just doesn't help too much. And um, so I just try and fall asleep like when I can. Um, and then let people wake me up if they need to or whatever, and then go from there. But between that and trying to get rid of some of this beer that I had, it's pumpkin beer, and I mean it's old, Some of it's from a year ago or almost a year and stuff like that because it's October, coming up. So I'm trying to get rid of it, and it's one of my favorites because it's a seasonal one. If you get any kind of seasonal stuff at like a Starbucks or whatever, like pumpkin, peppermint, for Christmas, pumpkins obviously for October, um, other stuff like that, I love it. And I couldn't tell you otherwise. When I can get it in the season that doesn't go with it, it's just so. Even though this stuff is like old, I really like it. So, um, but I'm just trying to like get it gone. Um, Obviously because it's old, and I really don't have that much of it, but I'm trying to make room in our fridge, and I don't just want to pour it down the sink. So, um, but they're all in bottles, and one of them's the because it's a wheat beer, and then the other two are pretty good. It just depends on um, different stuff. So, but that's also the bad thing because I know I'm not like a lot of other people where they get they have a couple and get tipsy. Like I would probably need like a swimming pool worth, and it's actually funny because Bizarre asked me about it, I guess. And besides, like Trey doesn't drink at all. I drink a little bit, but I'm really like particular about it. Only on like the weekends, usually, or like if you just have a day out of the blue. So probably once or twice a month. But I'm one of the only people that Trey doesn't care because he told me when I was a lot younger, obviously when I was I think 20, 21, somewhere in there, that I was the only one in our friend group that he didn't care had anything with alcohol in it because he he knew that when I did it, I didn't change at all. And that's what he didn't like other people doing. Whenever, if you go to a bar and somebody gets like really happy go lucky, or somebody gets belligerent and is like aggressive and all this other stuff, like he's like, you're just you. He goes, you just enjoyed, what you had and talking to people. So, well, if you've ever had a frozen margarita, there is an invention that I made that is really good. We have these things called dailies that are like frozen certain drinks like Bahama Mama and um, Tropical Breeze and other stuff like that. And working at a Mexican food restaurant, we had this drink that they called the fish bowl. It was like a margarita, and then they take this little bitty beer that was like this size, and they would take it and flip it over and stick it inside the fish bowl. And as you would drink, the air bubbles from you taking part of that stuff would go up into it, and it would empty beer out into it. And so I got the idea that what if I did that with these dailies, doing like the frozen Bahama Mama or whatever else we had, that was the dailies that was frozen, took a couple of them and then took a Smirnoff and flipped the Smirnoff up into it. So some of them are good. You just have to work with your flavor combination, but they are spectacular and stuff like that. And it's something that you can give somebody and they should sit there and sip on it for a while, which is another thing. that I try and do as learning how to kind of bartend a little bit. Like, I only did it at home, so I want you to have something that tastes good, but I didn't want you to sit there and get so crazy and ruin the night, because then I would have to sit there and take care of you. So, which there weren't really people I wanted to do that to. I had a roommate that was like 300 pounds. I take that back. It was 400 pounds. I mean, he was big, and I made this punch that was mostly fruit juice, and you could taste that it had stuff, because I was like, if somebody drinks this, I want them to know that there's alcohol in it. I don't want them to sit there and drink it and say, oh, this is just regular fruit juice. I wanted them to know. And so he did it, and my friend was known for like just going way overboard. And he walked up to me and was like, hey man, this punch is really good. Da, da, da. I've had like six cups. And I was like, dude, you're supposed to be taking it slow. Like, that's not what you do. You don't sit there and, like, I had just seen him get his first. I was like, you don't sit there in 15 minutes and drink six of these. He goes, but it's just so good. So then he tried to say something else, and he tried to cuss at me. He's like, you're a dirty da 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 or whatever. And when he got to you're a dirty whatever it was, he fell over, passed out while he was standing up into me. And I was just like, I'm glad that all my football experience kicked in, because I just like grabbed him and I didn't have to worry about it. Well, then later on, he was sitting on our couch, and our couch wasn't against a wall or anything. And he starts calling me a motherfucker. And he's like, you're an MF this, MF that. And I said, it is too long. I've been cleaning up after you, making food, doing all this for you to sit there and just start cussing at me like that. And I said, do it one more time. And I said, see what happens. Because I said, I'm PO'd enough right now that it's not going to matter. So he goes, motherfucker. And I lost it, flipped the couch over, and he rolled off of it, 400-pound guy. So you can imagine how he just rolled like a meatball. Put the couch back up, and I walk over to help him up and whatnot, because I knew he was drunk. And my friend looks at me and he goes, how did I end up on the floor? And so it was at that time that I knew, like, I would only make this for people that could sit there and enjoy it and not ruin themselves. And so from then on, I scarcely make it. I make it maybe once every 2 years. So I try not to make it that much, because too many people want it, and I know exactly what's going to happen with it. And, you know, especially people that are still my age or a little younger, I don't want to have to deal with that. And I don't want it coming back on me like, oh, hey, you were the person that made this. Especially because my sister says that now after drinking it. And so I only will give it to adults. Right? Panstein, badge on. RPX, have you ever seen Blue Bloods? Patch check. Blue Bloods is no, not whatever that's called. Blue Bloods is a police officer show, and it's pretty good. It's like a whole family of police officers. The grandpa is only around at like the dinner times, or if something's going on. He was the old commissioner. The dad is now the main commissioner. His sons are a detective, a police officer trying to become a detective, and his daughter is a lawyer. And then he's got one of the sons is married, and then he's got three grandkids, two boys from the married son, and then the daughter has one daughter, and her dad, the girl's dad, is from another lawyer. So it's really good. It's all kind of in the middle together where you have like a past commissioner, current commissioner, a detective, a police officer, a lawyer, and it's all kind of built into the system like that. So it is on Netflix. I think it might still be going on regular television, but I don't know anymore. It's got Danny Wahlberg in it, Mark Wahlberg's, I think, older brother, and some other people in it that they're just in different shows and movies and stuff that I couldn't name off. Yeah, it's one of his brothers. I am, I think, 3/4 of the way through it. But I mean, I enjoy it. Yes. Mark Wahlberg, Danny Wahlberg, and their brother were all in New Kids on the Block. Or no, they were in Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch for just a little while. That's cool. Yeah, I'd totally like to meet some of those people. I would like to become an actor slash voice actor so I could meet some of those people and get an autograph. But I don't know exactly what a lot of them would do. That's really cool. Have you gotten to meet him? Yeah, it's a really good show. I think you would highly like it, RPX. Um, just because it's kind of like a family thing, with everybody playing kind of a different role that makes up the police department instead of you only getting like this unit or whatever. So it is really good. And I really like the dad, because even though he's the commissioner and all this other stuff, if either one of his sons gets in trouble, depending on what it is, he takes the exact right action for it. And, he's like, you have to suffer the consequences for this. So I really like that whole role of the father. And, um, they have like a bunch of different things. They even bring up too, like the media talking about skin color and all this other stuff of how it's going to look and everything. I mean, it is such an in-depth show about certain particulates that it's great. That would be great. Yeah, I would. I would totally meet all the Wahlbergs because they just all seem like real people persons. I mean, honestly, I wish I got more of the nostalgia. Goal of the day fish sandwich. That sounds great. I would take one of those. Um, but working at a bar venue area, meeting some celebrities, I got to meet McLovin from Superbad and those movies. I got to meet him and his band. Um, I got to meet some country singers and like the Mushroom Head band, which is kind of like Slipknot, a bunch of other stuff, and Joe Diffie, which is like an ancient guy. I've met them all, and it just really opened it up for me to kind of be like, hey, like, um, they're not as big as you would think. They're just people, you know. So if somebody would take a chance on some other people, them take a chance and try and support somebody like on an acting career or whatever, I think that would be stupendous, aka me. But I mean, it doesn't have to be me. It could be anybody. I kind of feel like celebs are kind of like how it is in every group. They're kind of a closed off section. But I mean, I feel like I would get out and try and meet everybody and be friends with everybody else and pull everybody into different movies and all this other stuff. So, right. That's pretty cool. I haven't met all those people. I wish. Hey, when you meet celebrities, you can go with me, and I'll just cancel out your awkwardness. Hello?
Hey,
Hey. So you're on the live you're on the live stream right now, right?
you're doing the live stream
I am.
at 5:30 in the morning? Well, 4:30 in the morning to you?
Yes.
Why?
It's just Jen's late night chat.
Oh, God. Well, bye.
I'll see you in the comments. That was the bizarre individual. Heck yeah. Yep. I know a lot of people tell me you're a real big people person, and so easy. If I could ever get my psychology degree, totally be like some of their psychology stuff. Totally get that niche. That's pretty cool. We got to meet, I wouldn't say celebrity, but like local celebrities like senators and stuff when I was in high school because they were coming to like different high school games that their kids went to or whatever. And I did ROTC. So that was pretty crazy. I haven't met any like newer people because I haven't worked doing any of that for back when I was 21, so 6 years ago, 7 years ago almost. It's pretty crazy. Not Dave Chappelle. That's really cool. I'd love to meet Dave Chappelle. Steve Harvey. Love to meet Steve Harvey. We are going to adjust real quick, guys, because I'm tired of sitting in this hard seat. So we're going to move over to the, I guess, big comfy chair, if that's what we'd call it. I don't know. Whoop. Too much stuff is going on at the same time. Quick, Jefferson Starships. Chips. I am going to have to get my brother to come do a ride along with you, especially on one of those days, because he would probably be able to tell you everybody. I did too. I had somebody ask me if I was still into wrestling currently, and I said, no, not really. I said, I like all the old stuff, but I do really like the Asian circuit because they still actually punch people. It's not dramatized and worked out and fake. I mean, like they actually hit each other and whatnot. So I have never been to a convention. I don't know what to say about that. On one of the food movies or shows I was watching, one of the guys was joking. He was over in one of the Asian countries that he was President Trump. And I was like, oh my God. It's spreading, it's going everywhere. We got like 2 more days to the weekend, guys. I have never been to a big Comic Con, so I actually feel like I've let down myself in life because of that, but hopefully at some point I will be able to do it. I would probably go to just a few. Nothing too crazy. Probably just like one a year. Wouldn't care really what it was. Maybe trying to see people I hadn't seen before. So, and with there being so many new people becoming celebrities every day, I mean, one of you guys might be a celebrity tomorrow. You never know um, what could happen, but seems like it happens more often now, a lot more often. And some people just don't know how to kind of handle it. So there's stuff that's really big for me in Switzerland. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh man, I hope that y'all have some stores that are getting set up for that. Then I think it's good to take it off, but I think it's even better to monitor it because everything in this world can be taxed. True, true. And it makes sense, you know? It makes too much sense. I totally think that all that makes way too much sense. And obviously, now that we've gotten past this milestone, that at some point, yeah, um, that at some point, maybe we can do that. Like the Bunny Ranch in California. Maybe everywhere in the United States will kind of do something like that. And I mean, it'll give some people, whoever does it, some jobs, and at least then you can keep it protected and hopefully it will end certain things. Um, but I mean, just like everything, you know, there's a good side and a bad side. Even when something gets legalized or isn't, there's a good side and a bad side to it, regardless. Because you're always going to have, yeah, you're always going to have people that do something stupid with it. You're always going to have people that um, do all the right things with it. Don't go out. Don't do anything. But obviously in your line, you're going to have all the idiots. You're going to have all the dummies that think, oh, it just gives me now it gives me all the time where I can do whatever I want with it, and it doesn't make sense. But they think it's good. I think it's a better way for the government to tax people on, and maybe hopefully at some point doing that and some other stuff will um, make us more like some of the European countries and whatnot. And maybe, hopefully, at one time, it will get to the point where colleges are cheaper for people to go to and all the other stuff. I know there's some countries where you don't pay for college at all. You can go if you want, and all the tax money goes into it. All right. I will catch you later, RPX. Thanks for hopping on the time that you did have. Stay safe, and like I said, I'll catch you later on. Probably see your Twitter snaps or whatever. So, anyway, I will catch you later. Bye. I just have you, Danny. How's it going at the restaurant today? Or are you working at the restaurant today? Bam, there we go. Just trying to find a caption for the first one of this. Are you done with your trip yet? Oh, okay. You are catching up on some reading. Hey, Kawaii, Kawaii. I don't know. It happens. Uh, what are you doing up at 5 a.m.? I'm sure you're getting ready for work. Oh, true. Yeah, I just caught up on a lot of your videos. For some reason, you and Shay were my two people that had a lot of videos I was behind on, which, in my defense, when I try and save the best for last, sometimes I guess I get burnt out on watching videos for saving the best for last and I'll forget about it. And then I forget to go back to it. So, but I did finally get to watch like a bunch of them back to back, and I thought they were amazing. So, didn't comment on any of them because I was like, I'll finally get caught up. And then I was like, I'm like one video away from your trip. Okay, I'll get there. I have not read Trinity 7, but Prison School is pretty good. Highly, highly enjoy that. Whatever. Your videos are spectacular. What are you talking about? Does anybody have any questions? Whatever. You are totally one of the best people ever. I don't know why you don't think that about yourself. Very true. I highly think that prison school puts itself in so many predicaments to move forward. My only complaint is that I feel like some of the stuff that the guys should know from being like perverts and whatnot is they should know a lot better. Um, just like the whole water bottle thing, that was one of my biggest complaints recently. Um, was none of them understanding that even after it got conveyed to the other guys, and now it's still a thing, and it just I saw it the first time. I don't understand it anymore. Um, how's my baby today? He's sleeping. He's doing good. Whatever. I think your videos are great. Just like I told everybody earlier that them talking about other stuff that wasn't just manga was stupendous. It gives everybody a breath of fresh air. I agree. They do have their own distractions, but this whole you use the water bottle thing for a kiss is not making it understandable. And for guys that were supposedly perverts to begin with, I feel like they don't know as much. Like, feel like we were kind of like at high schooler level, and I feel like we went from high schooler level down to elementary school level because the guys just don't understand certain things, especially on the whole kiss thing or whatever. And the water bottle thing, like I said, it doesn't make sense. But I will not throw I will not throw it out for that because even though that happens, Andre being crazy and all the other stuff is just great. The only thing I would say I'm probably upset is that Ken and the guy with the glasses, I can't remember his name, um, both of them having that whole thing where Ken thought that the guy with the glasses liked him was hilarious. I love that part, but now it's kind of like they don't have that, and I feel like Ken has been put on the back burner for it. And the blonde guy with the pompadour, and I really want to know more about his love life. with the other chick. I do not have that kawaii kawaii because it's not a manga. That is it. I have been looking at it. I even have pictures of all the volumes that have come out so far on my phone because I'm waiting for them to change it into a manga. And I keep hoping every year since it's been published that they will, and they haven't. No, the blonde guy from um yes, they went to the arcade. I guess that would be the gamer. No, it's a light novel. That's my only thing about it. Very true. You have time to cancel it. There's a couple other ones that are coming out as light novels that are very upsetting because I want them as a manga. They do have really good topics that are fantasy based, and I would love them, but they don't. And my only other thing with that is I really hate how they took Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash and made it a 3 volume series when it is already up to like 8 volumes now, or probably even more than that. And they didn't give it enough time for it to turn into this big thing. Like they kind of toyed around with it and they just didn't go very far. So I kind of hate that. I don't think I checked out Wandering Island. Um, I don't think I saw it. I will have to see if I can get that and if I have the finances for it. Yeah. So one of the only things I really hate is when ones that you know have more stuff to them or whatever don't come out very fast. That is probably about one of the worst things. Also, very true. Um, Happiness is one that I highly enjoy, but I feel like it's still not going to hold a candle at the end of it when we get to the end. Um, but it's not going to compare to um, Flowers of Evil, just because of what's all in it and stuff like that. I just don't think that it has what it takes, because basically with the Flowers of Evil, you had that whole human experience of you're a human, the characters in the book are human. This is stuff that can happen. What if it happened to you? And in Happiness, I feel like it's happening, but there's vampires, and it's kind of like, how do we get closer to that understanding of being vampires? Like maybe if it outlined some stuff a little better and whatnot, it would be great. But I don't feel connected with the characters really that much, which is what I hate about it. Yes. Probably about the happiest thing that I've enjoyed in it was where the guy told everybody to eat the other vampire guy of because everybody in the cult was like, if you eat him, you'll get his power, you'll be immortal forever, da da da. And so they all started attacking him. That was probably the last favorite thing that happened. But still there of I'm not enjoying it. So I wish more would happen. Now, if you want another one that's just as good and crazy everywhere, I would say Higurashi When They Cry, because that one is everywhere. I mean, and it's really good. I feel like because they split it up into like individual stories, and they give you the number, and then they tell you the actual number in the series. And I mean, it's great in that aspect because it's like every time the next every time you progress with every like arc, I would say that's what they would be. It gets a little more information, and so if you're reading one, information you learn in one goes into two, but it's like restarting the whole story again. So it's like you read um, volume one and two, and it gives you more insight to volume three and four, but it restarts it from a different scenario. And then from one, two, three, and four, five and six gives you a whole nother scenario. But now you have all this information from one, two, three, and four to help you with five and six. So it's kind of weird that it starts over, but then progresses as it goes with every new one added into it. So I've read the first like half of that, which is like up to volume 10. Need to go back and read the rest of it because that the whole first part is called the questioning arc or the questioning arcs, and then the second half is called the answering arcs. And so it's supposed to give you more, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But it's really good. The first one is called like the Demon Village arc, and then the second one is the dice rolling arc, the summer festival arc, like all this different stuff. So, like I said, it all gets a little deeper into the story as it goes, with throwing different scenarios into it. So, do I? I have no idea. Most time, if you see any of these, it's probably because my insomnia is kicking in real bad and my sleep schedule's off a little bit and all this other stuff. So I really hate that that happens sometimes, but oh well. But no, if you got any other questions, throw them at me. Very true. Um, I've read some manga, but it's or not manga, but I've read some of the other stuff. I read Immortal Hulk. I read Deadpool versus Carnage. I read um, Cosmic Ghost Rider. Mortal Hulk and Cosmic Ghost Rider I got as free comics from having so many points with Marvel Insider. So it was really cool that I got those and got to read them. Now I'm like, want to go back and jump into them. And then there's also the Generation series that has kind of come out that I want to read. They're kind of like Generations is a bigger series. It's like 8 to 10. But each one is its own volume basically. And so there's like a lot to read for it. Like there's Jean Grey and Dark Phoenix, or just Phoenix. And then there's like Rescue or Ironheart and Iron Man. And then there's Captain America and Sam Wilson, and Peter Parker or Spider Man and Miles Morales, Bruce Banner and Amadeus Cho. So it's kind of like a bunch of different stuff in the series. You have um, Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, and I mean it's just a bunch of different stuff. So Generations is really cool. It's kind of this one that shows like the mantle getting handed down. I have not read Spice and Wolf, but it is on my list to purchase. Um, just like Goodnight Pun Pun is on my list to purchase because I really want to read it. All right, Kwai Kwai. I will catch you later. I hope you get some rest. You work like all the time. What was fantastic? The Fantastic Four. Oh, yeah, I haven't gotten to read any of it yet, and somebody did a review on Goodnight Pun Pun and compared it to another one that's supposed to be a female version of it, and it seemed really good, but I wasn't able to get into it at that point. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. Goblin Slayer is pretty good. Um, I like now they're focusing on like one town, and so it was like the past three volumes, and they're trying to figure out how the goblins are so advanced, and there's like other monsters involved and all this different stuff. But it's really awesome. The criticism is that it's not as good as Berserk, but when it comes down to it, it's kind of like Berserk's been out longer, so it doesn't make sense that people throw that in there together. Um, and then all the rape scenes and stuff like that that the goblins do is something as well. But a lot of people don't want to work off of the origins of that's what goblins do. Like that's how they reproduce. And this one has just kind of pulled it out of the dark and said, "Hey, this is how it happens." So I don't understand why a lot of people don't get that and want to call it bad for that. I have not read Uwe Blatt yet, but it is right here on my shelf, so I need to get into it. Just like I have Juji Ito's works, I have those three up on the top, and then there is, I think, one, two, three, four of them up there, besides the white spines. Right. I need to get done with my current TBR so I can get into some other stuff. But there's just a lot. You just have to read Uzumaki for the last one. Uzumaki for the win. Right. I've already decided that maybe I'll hold out on it till October. Danny did it last year, I believe, reading Juji Ito's works. Um, but now that I have a bunch of them, and he has No Longer Human supposedly coming out at some point soon, I have all that. Yeah, there's not really that much Juji, or there's not that much besides Juji. I wish there was more. Shibuya Goldfish is probably the only other one that somebody's told me is horror based. And besides that, I really don't feel like there's that many unless you want to take zombie ones like Hour of the Zombie and stuff. But I don't think they're really classified as horror. That's the only bad part. Nothing that's supposed to actually like scare the socks off you. They do that. They do have that coming out. They also have the adaptations for some of the classic stuff coming out. So maybe um, maybe some of those will be super good and dark, like the Edgar Allan Poe one. But I don't know. Anyway, guys, I will probably go about another 9 or 10 minutes, so we can be right at like 2 hours and a half for this. All right, why with video? You have any questions? But anyway, Goober, on the same thing. So I've been watching a lot of the stuff on YouTube from like Chills or Top 15 or whatnot, and some of those can be pretty freaky. I showed somebody one of those, and they watched it, and thought it was pretty crazy. Okay. I will catch you later. Hopefully, you will see some of the other videos I put out. I do have some more pop stuff. I had a request for me to do some more of that stuff. What was the show? It's on YouTube. It's one of them's called Chills, and the other one is called Top 15. Um, Chills was a co-host on Top 15 for a while, and Top 15 goes through like the top 15 or whatever of a bunch of different stuff. Um, like I saw the top 15 like creepiest teachers that hit on their students, or top 15 internet scandals, different stuff like that, all crazy. And but then if you watch Chills by itself, Chills has basically um, where it is supposed to be like scary stuff. So he's really monotone, so it makes it all kind of a little more freakier when you're watching it. So I really like watching his stuff, though. You're doing Japanese stuff. Will you teach me Japanese? I know food in Japanese. That's about it. Very true. Me too. There is so much good stuff to try, so many places to see, a lot of stuff. Very true. Um, you'd probably have to take a break from manga and read a lot of other stuff, unless it was on your phone or whatever, and probably just enjoy like figures and other stuff like that. Yes. I know just a little bit. I don't know if I can accept that, but I took a little Mandarin Chinese in high school, and I still remember a little bit of it, but I am not that great at it. You just made me think about it too. So I had one person that was trying to speak to me in a different language. And so I like private messaged them and I said, "Hey, will you do this for like the next 5 minutes, regardless of what happens?" So they just randomly started saying stuff. And I was um, I was like, Yes, you do have a beautiful face. I totally agree with you. And then they'd say something else. They'd be like, you want to go out for a drink? I don't know if we can do that. We're so far away. And I had like all the people that were watching, like, how do you know what they're saying? I can read part of it, not for kanji. I know a couple kanji, like for I and numbers. That's probably all I remember. Everything else is the English kanji, like what it sounds like when you say it. I could tell you how to say it, but that's probably about it. Just like reading names, Yaiba for sword, Kami for god, Yaiba Kami or Yaiba no Kami, Sage, Seiji, stuff like that. I could probably do that, but when we get real down into the kanji, I don't think I can do that for you. Numbers are probably about as far, you know, and I know most of those are really close together except for a couple. After I learned it and I watched Kung Fu Hustle for the first time, when they do the whole part where the guy's counting off and he goes each ni san, I was like, I know what he's saying. Heck yeah. Yeah, I have watched Kung Fu Hustle in Japanese. I watched it in English. I think I watched it in Spanish. And then when they put it on Netflix, they had somebody go in and redo it a different way. And I'm like, why can't I get this in English? Why can't I get this in another language? And because I was going to watch it with somebody that doesn't know any of it and doesn't want to sit there and read it all. So that's pretty funny. But me and some other person talked about it today when we were watching this thing, and there's certain things that you just know. They asked me about signs in Japan and how do you read them if they have stuff. So well, you don't. You look at what it is. And we were watching a show on food, and I was like, well, most of it will have a picture. You just look at the picture. Um, but if it's something else, like if you go there and you're trying to stick to a name place that you know, like McDonald's or something like that, I said they'll actually say McDonald's. So it was pretty funny doing part of that, having it under control. I don't know what either one of you have said the last couple times. So desu narai, chinkai ga il desu. Okay, so my brother, yeah, I'm gonna have to tell you guys this because you guys will get a pretty good laugh. So my brother would say ikimasu And he used to say it in the highest pitch girly voice I have ever heard. And he would go, Ikimasu. And I was like, I'm going to need you to stop saying it like a Japanese high school girl. Just say it Ikimasu. Well, being funny, I say it to my son, who is only like 5 and a little under a half. He's like 5. We're getting into the 5th month right now, so he'll be 5 months at the end of the month. And I can say Ikimasu to him a couple times and he will laugh uncontrollably. So I've even made a little song for him only using Ikimasu. So I'll be like Ikimasu, Ikimasu, and then it'll be like if you're scratching the record, Ikimasu, and he just laughs hysterically. So that's what happens. So it's really funny though. But do either of y'all have any more questions? A portable number one fan. Exactly. I will probably get off in about 2 minutes. Do either one of you guys have any questions you'd like to ask? Ikimas? That is how my brother says it. He goes Ikimasu. Nice talking to you. When are you going to put out an actual manga video, Cooper? Send me some lunch, Danny. But all right, I will catch both of y'all later. Thanks for watching. As you know, I am Jingraves. Bye.